Hey there, everyone. Another wild week in the markets. We need to see what is going on with the charts, and I have some pretty important stuff to tell you about the S&P 500 from a technical standpoint, and I'm also going to give updates on QQQ, IWM, NVDA, Tesla, Bitcoin, and then just talk a little bit with whatever time's left over about like roadblocks. There we go, and Palantir. Let's get right into the charts from here. So SPY, still in the rising wedge pattern that we have right here, and then on Friday, closing up about 1%. And man, oh man, did we actually pull back pretty darn hard. We hit a low price of 568, but then when we closed things up, we closed them up at 572.98, so almost 573. So a pretty wild swing. And then the pre-market hours this morning, we're actually trading back down below this line that I had as resistance. So we'll see where we open, where we get to. But on the back of those strong numbers that we had for jobs and also a lower unemployment number that we had, we'll see if that gets revised down over time. However, there were other really good numbers that were out there, and the market's down today anyway. Some of it could be weather related, some of it could still be geopolitical, some of it could be the uncertainty that's coming up with the election, some of it could also be the fact that we get big bank earnings on Friday. So there's a lot of reasons why we might have that nervousness. It is noteworthy that we're in the rising wedge formation. I'm going to share more with you at the end of this video about what I'm seeing on SPY, what I shared over at the Discord. You can see these charts before they hit YouTube, but by using the link down in the description for the Patreon, click that, sign up, head on over there, check out the technicals and my buys and sells to see how I profit in whichever direction this market heads, decides it's going to go. So let's move from there into the Qs. Also in a rising wedge pattern that we have for QQQ for the NASDAQ 100 stocks. So here you can see that formation as well, and you can see the prices that are on here. Let me zoom in to take away some of the noise that we see on the screen. And then what we find out in here, yeah, we broke through that resistance on Friday, but now we're back down below it, a lot like what we saw for SPY. As a matter of fact, with the 13-period moving average for the SPY, the QQQ seems to be where we pulled back to at some point in time. So, like I said, strong numbers on Friday, and the market is just not pulling this off anyway. And I gave the reasons why I think that might be happening for what we're seeing right now. So let's move over into IWM. For IWM, what are we seeing? Well, we are seeing ourselves butting up against the resistance. Let me go like this, and then that way you can really see what happened on Friday, that we tried to get into this area of resistance up here, got rejected anyway. And now we're back down here looking for finding support. There is a line right here at about 217. We'll see if we come back to that today, or if we end up on top of this bullish channel that I have right here in this red diagonal line that's coming across your screens. Let me do that. There you can see the diagonal line slanting across a little bit better. So that happens to be right around 215, 216 that we're watching for that. In the pre-market hours, we're up around 218. So we'll see if some of that weakness holds out through the regular trading hours, or if we're going to get that recovery that we could potentially get from there. But we'll see. Right now, this week is starting to be a little bit nervous, and I think that there's a number of factors for that. So going over into NVIDIA in a consolidation pattern, I got the 4-hour chart here. You can see we pretty much came up to this trend line on the way down and got rejected as of Friday and in the pre-market hours so far, but we did make it up within $1 of my price target of 124.48 on Friday, and now we're still fighting that trend line. We need to get up on top of that. If we do, we have 131 to look forward to. If we don't, then we have 121 and about 118 to look forward to on the downside of this. So we want to be watchful for those prices for NVIDIA. Get up on top of that trend line, NVIDIA. You can do it. Over to Tesla. Tesla, where we find ourselves back inside the rising wedge pattern here. We have full self-driving robo-taxi day this week coming up on Thursday. So we'd be watchful for that, what it could potentially do to us. Now, mind you, if we rally at all in this week leading up to that point in time, I think that's going to continue to support the case for selling the news. I think we got some of that last week on top of other things going on with the market, other weaknesses that we got a bit of a bounce. But watch for this, especially if we do rise a little bit more, watch for that drawdown leading up to that full self-driving robo-taxi day. So for Tesla, 242, you can see that we peaked down below that last time. We did not make it back down to 233. We were able to get back up in there into this area that I'm going to still consider resistance at this point in time. I had as support when we were up above it, but now we're kind of stuck in it. So we're resisting the top of that 253. And don't forget to pay attention to those trend lines that's on there for the rising wedge pattern we find ourselves in for Tesla. Going over to Bitcoin, check out the touch that we got off of 60,000 for Bitcoin. There we go. Actually, I can drop this down to the daily chart from the weekly chart so you can see it a bit better on here, and I'll change the view. There we go. So this line right here is the $60,000 line, and we had a touch on it on Wednesday, touch on it on Thursday, and then we continue to bounce off of that. This is also the 50-period simple moving average that we have in blue across here. That's the 50-period EMA, and you can see today we got a pretty hard rejection off the 200-day. The question out there right now is, are we going to get golden cross where this yellow 200 gets crossed by this blue 50-period moving average that we have? If we do, we can see further price appreciation. If the market itself, or the stock market, is going to show weakness and we go risk off for some reason, that's going to make it more difficult for Bitcoin. But if we get back over that 200, if we get that golden cross, we have significant upside to look forward to. Let me get these prices on screen for you. So up above, if we're able to get above resistance above the 200-day, I think that'd be strong evidence that we could have these upper prices activated here. If we can't get up above those, then we can look to the downside of these prices that I have along here for you. If we get that rejection instead, you can see we have a bunch of near-term support before some free fall areas that happen following that time. So just a quick update for you on roadblocks. This is a rising wedge pattern that I had talked about, and you can see, maybe, let me actually hide some of this. Look at this price action that I have right here as I hide the technicals. That drop right there is something that I called out ahead of time for my Discord. Had a nice little gain off of that when I took some profits early on. Anybody who stayed in it longer, who likes a little bit more risk and doesn't go as quickly for the guarantee, man, they made multiples on that play if that's what they decided to do, as I never tell you what to buy or sell, but I will tell you what I'm seeing out there. And now as far as Palantir, one final thing, when you look at Palantir, this top little candle that we got here followed by a bit of a pullback, look at the technicals that I have for this one for Palantir, also shared over at the Discord, link down in the description. By the way, if you guys want to learn to do this technical analysis yourself, you can do so through the link using for Stockmo Academy. Use that link down in the description. Use the code word doctor when you sign up. It's going to give you a massive discount. And even better than that is a trading strategy that shows you exactly how I use this in order to make profits in the market on the way up or the way down. And developed by Stockmo and endorsed by me, used by him, used by many others who have joined that course. Go ahead and check those links out down in the description. But check out that most recent candle we got on Friday. Came right up to the trend line that I have on here, and also still stuck in that resistance area. So where did the top go? I was within 10 cents of that top, by the way, with the top part of resistance that I have here and that trend line. Now coming back down, maybe we fall back out of this 39 and we find this bottom trend line. This is again a rising wedge pattern like we saw with roadblocks, like we're seeing with SPY and QQQ. This is one that if we tumble out of this, we could have a pretty big fall to correct some of that Palantir price. And that is a good thing technically, because what it does is it allows us to find out where the floor is and gives us a better launching point. So even if you're bullish on Palantir, might not be a straight climb up from here. A little bit of correcting, coming back down to ARF for a little bit might be one of those things that we're looking for in order to find out, you know, the next part of the jump, because we do start to lose momentum after a while. We don't have significant evidence of a bearish divergence at this point for Palantir, but there might be some coming. Speaking of which, I'll close the video with this. What we're looking at here is the monthly chart for SPY. I've been talking about this bearish divergence for a while. We have wildly higher prices since 2018 onward, and continued drop in momentum that we keep on getting lower and lower peaks here. So we'll see if we drop down below 70 on a monthly basis, which could feel pretty painful in the short term. This could signal a further drop for us. This is probably the biggest bearish divergence that we've ever had in SPY. However, this is something on a monthly chart. This could go on for months or years before anything really becomes of it. Now, if we go down to the weekly chart, however, we've actually started to see this. As a matter of fact, let me see if we go back on that one. There we go. So you can see here on the weekly chart as well that we also have lower peaks indicated by the shorter trend line that I have on here, and those higher prices over the past several weeks that we're also starting to see bearish divergence. Even though that peak's higher right there than the trend line, it's showing that it is lower than the peak that came before it. So we're getting rising prices, but lower prices all the time. So that's something that can indicate to us that a drop could be coming sometime soon. And with all the pressures that we have out there, like I said, geopolitically, weather-related, election, fear of recession, those are all things that might put us into kind of a yucky time for a little while. We need to watch and see. We need to be prepared. I'll probably put out some more short hedges in my portfolio. If you guys want to see those, you can most definitely do that. Like I said, the link down in the description to Patreon is going to show you those buys and sells, and then also that technical analysis if you're looking for it. If you're looking for my technicals before they hit YouTube, Patreon, over to Discord, that's the place to go. Use that link. If you're looking to do these technicals yourself, hit up Stockmo Academy. Use the code word doctor, DOCTOR, when you sign up. It's going to give you a massive discount. Guys, I'm going to let you go. Thank you for watching. I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education. Remember, my friends, that learning is earning. We'll see you in the next video.